welcome to another episode of Wear Many Hats. My name's Rachel, and this is the podcast that's totally dedicated to the FM industry. Today we have a wonderful guest. We have Anette Ollerearnshaw.
Hello.
Close, wasn't it?
Yes,
Ollerearnshaw. I did that.
Lovely to meet you, Rachel.
Thank you so much for coming. Anette is the head of projects, facilities and operations currently at the Royal College of Music. I'll let her talk more about that, but it's great to have you here, Anette.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful to be here.
And where did you come from today? Did you come from
Kensington.
Oh, so nice.
Yes.
Not too far.
Just from the Royal College of Music in Prince Consort Road.
Beautiful.
At the back of the Royal Albert Hall.
Oh, I was there recently. There was a concert. It's a lovely place.
Beautiful.
It is
Really.
Around there, just full stop.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
What a lovely place to work in. We're going to go through your career today and hear how you got to where. I mean, I was looking before the show and I'm like, this lady does a lot. I see a lot of present still on a lot of what you do. So
yeah.
You wear multiple hats upon hats.
Hats and trousers.
And braces. And yeah. So you've got so many different things going on for you at the moment. So yes, let's kick off. So where did it all start for you?
So I'm going to start with my university education. I think we'll talk a little bit more about the sort of what came before then later on. But firstly, I went to the London College of Fashion from 2001 to 2004, where I studied for a BA Honours in Hair, Makeup and Prosthetics for the Performing Arts.
Wow.
So many people find it quite interesting where that connection comes, but believe me, I will go through that and I will just explain a little bit where it sort of is layers in my career, really, rather than sort of single paths.
Yes.
After I graduated, I worked as a freelancer for 7 years across all sorts of live performance, theatre, ballet, opera, dance, across the whole of the UK and also internationally.
Yes.
And then in 2011, I became the head of wigs, hair and makeup at the English National Opera.
I saw that.
And so that was 3 years of my life there. Where we made art, we made singers look certain characters and actors, and so opera, I always say, has the whole toolbox of performance. So you have all of the different skills and crafts that are part of it, and so to do that as a team is really rewarding, and to know that we're sort of creating something that affects an audience day after day is a very magical sort of way of earning money and being creative. But also, on the other hand, what I did then, and I think that's what I will then sort of really feeds into where I am now. At that point, I became very aware of my responsibility for my team and their health and safety, and also sort of making sure that our spaces were adequate.
Right.
So installing local ventilation, making sure that we were breathing in the acetone that we were cleaning the wig lace with.
Okay.
Making sure that we had good seating, good all of the spaces. So we redecorated our office there and refurbished there to make sure we had all of the facilities that we needed. So that's already where my thread of facilities came in without me really realizing. But also at the time, I did a PG Cert, postgraduate certificate in 2011. I achieved that qualification in arts policy and management, and that was at Birkbeck University, not far from here. And that was, I think, what I've sort of noticed throughout in my career, looking back, is that I kind of I almost do the things and then get myself the qualifications in them just to back up those experiences. So then from 2014 to 2018, I became technical manager at Camberwell College of Arts. And there I managed a team of 40-odd specialist technicians, teaching and learning technicians. And workshops would include wood, metal, ceramics, conservation, photography, digital media, printmaking, etching, all of it, and digital making, digital fabrication as well. So I think that's really where I made that step from managing a specific discipline to managing lots of different disciplines. And again, during that time, we had a £62 million building project, working with Overbury, who are a very good contractor,
I know
actually, really good. And so we built a new academic block at the back of the site. We built new student accommodation, but also as part of that, some new workshops. So a new ceramics workshop was upgraded. We built a new wood workshop. We had all sorts of different new configurations within that, which was very rewarding.
Yes.
But then I was kind of, as we sort of said earlier, I keep trying to have all of those different paths of my career. It almost feels like lots of different layers of alive all the time, because they interest me all, and they do all inform each other as well. So I then had a 1-year sabbatical from the University of the Arts London, which was the Camberwell College of Arts job. And I was at the Dutch National Opera and Ballet, where I worked as the head of wigs, hair and makeup there.
I saw that.
And that was fabulous. We made amazing art. I had an amazing team who are technically very, very able, but also, again, working within that that's production environment that still feeds everything that I do now. It's the fact that we have different disciplines, but everyone works for the same outcome. And I would like to say that actually a building is almost a stage like that. We all work towards the same outcome, and that's a culture that I always try to bring into all of the teams that I lead as well.
Yes.
And then I came back to the UK, and then I went back to the University of the Arts London, but this time at Wimbledon College of Arts, and that's where we started the School of Performance. So that was starting in 2019. And then, of course, COVID happened. There were all sorts of different challenges. It was stepping from the physical into the digital space, all almost from one day to the other.
Yes.
Managing people, managing activities, making sure the students were all safe and had a good experience as well. But also at that time, as I think many people did, I did took part in a lot of education. We spent a lot of time at home on the computers, and sort of really discovering what was available remotely and what I could do. I had also actually just before COVID started, I did my Prince 2 training because I was really foundation and practitioner, I might to say. Because actually for me, I knew that projects was a way that reflects sort of the production process, but in a different way. So really translating all of those skills and the sort of paths of getting things done in lots of different ways.
That's great.
And then I did a NEBOSH qualification,
which is very relevant.
National General Certificate.
Yeah.
So that was something I did at the time. Again, really wanting to solidify my knowledge and understanding. We do a lot in technical departments.
Yes.
You do a lot of health and safety, and it's all about safe systems of work. It's all about making sure your COSH is in order, that everything works properly as it should, and so all of those things the path, looking back at it, was very clear. But at the time, it was kind of just really working on whatever was in front of me and improving the things for myself and for others.
Yeah.
So then I also did some HR training, all of this COVID online training, some finance training, but also facilities management. And so that is then where I then also gained my certification in IWFM. So I'm CIWFM certificated.
Yes.
And I also, actually, one thing I forgot to say, in 2014, I became a trustee. I became a trustee director at the Association of British Theatre Technicians.
Yeah, I saw this too.
And that's, I've been with them on and off on the board for 10 years. This is my 10th year. I've had two 3-year chunks and then a little bit of time out, and then I'm back on board now, which is, it's a brilliant organization, and it's such a strong community of people who are passionate about what they do and passionate about each other. And the ABTT produces something called the Yellow Book, which is all about safety standards in theatre.
Yes.
Also been very pivotal in the Green Book, which I can talk about a little bit later, which is all about sustainability and performance.
Yeah.
So having been really, key in that, I also did a qualification in change management, foundation and practitioner, and just sort of really I just kept going.
I see that.
I think COVID really was such a challenge that, really I needed something to focus on going forward, something that made sense, because the world seemed very uncertain at that time.
Very. You did very well.
So then I left the University of the Arts London, Wimbledon. We'd set up the School of Performance, which was very rewarding. But again, there was more hunger for more and really making sense of the sort of what I now call the apparatus of the building in comparison to, in theatre, I call it the embodiment technologies and the staging technologies.
Yes.
So it's really the hardware, the things that surround us. So I worked for a couple of months. It was a very short stint, but also gave me some really great insights at Tate.
Yes,
Tate, which is a global automation engineering company.
Yeah.
And that was up in Neaston. And so that was a learning curve, but it just really, other opportunities came up. And I then became head of projects, head of building management and operations at the QE2 Centre, which is opposite the Westminster Abbey.
I've been there.
£2,500 people capacity.
Yes.
And it was a busy place.
Yes.
Really, it was all about keeping the building as accessible and functional and working as possible. And as we all know, in the May 2023, we had the King's coronation.
Yes.
So we facilitated the press, the global press. Also, they congregated on our green, which was sort of, I was able to come in and support that as well.
How exciting.
So really sort of getting into the heart of Westminster in many, many ways.
I love this.
And then, and then it sort of changed. I had a little bit of more free time, did a little project management at Cirque du Soleil on one of the productions.
Yeah.
So again, sort of weaving a path between all of these different layers and pillars that I have, in addition to the hats.
Yes.
And so then I had a paternity cover contract at the University of the Arts London at London College of Communication at the Elephant and Castle.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was a technical manager job, the same job that I had at Camberwell. So I was able to step into that role very quickly, 6-month contract. But really, I was able to be effective very, very quickly because I knew the job very well. It was like, stepping into a slightly different context, but in the same organization and the same role.
Yeah.
And so that was then, they're at the moment undergoing a £420 million build project.
Goodness.
And that's a whole different scale. They've been doing it for quite some time now. So there was a lot of, the big stuff and the small stuff, really. It's sort of, my path within that was really picking up where the person I was filling in for had kind of left the sort of supporting the information of preparing spaces, preparing specialist technologies, and the scoping and the feasibility and the sort of briefing and all of that, making sure we were planning all of those things. But in addition to what that whole team does, also is they still run the teaching and learning to students as a team.
Okay.
So at the moment they have multiple tasks within that. So they actually have many hats now within their roles as well.
Gosh.
So there I was supporting the film and TV team, the loan store team, so with this place where students can come and sign out equipment so that they can work with technical equipment, and also the photography team, so that was digital and analog photography, and also the animation team as well. So there's lots of different layers to that as well. But again, the things, the threads we bring, it's about technical knowledge, it's about teamwork, it's about making sure we're compliant. Yeah. That's a big theme in all that I do as well. And, just making sure everyone really has a cohesive understanding of what we're doing as a team. And that's really important. But in all of this, I think this is what I'm trying to reflect on. I major on management and leadership in cultural context. And I think that's where I've arrived at now. So always treating management as a specialist skill rather than incidental responsibility. And I think that's sort of what trips up some people sort of as they sort of travel through the paths of, career progression. So management is a thing. Management is really important, and for ourselves and for others. And And I guess nowadays people might call it a portfolio career. It wasn't necessarily by choice, but it kind of just developed and built up like that.
It seems like it's an area that you love as well.
I do. I love the versatility of it.
Yeah.
And I love being able to apply knowledge into different areas and to see it grow and to share that with other people as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So my current job really, which is only a maternity cover role, so it's a fixed term contract at the moment, but it really merges all of these foundations and specialties really, really well. And I think everyone around me has recognized that as well. So taking over from someone who had given me the most comprehensive handover
That's brilliant.
in my life ever,
Helps.
an extraordinary human being. And so taking that over was also an interesting experience, just stepping into someone's shoes and almost holding the metaphorical baby. Obviously, it's a maternity cover role, but knowing that, I can bring to it the things that are my strengths, but also making sure I have consistency in what she built up and how she works, and not sort of breaking that, but adding maybe positively where I can.
Yes. So that's where you are today.
I know.
How exciting! That's a lot.
I know.
You did a lot in COVID as well.
I know.
I'm so impressed.
I know. I think I used my time effectively.
You did. You didn't take on candle making like me. You've got something. I should have studied something. Why didn't I do that? You know what? I think it was just a crazy time, wasn't it? And I don't think any of us were in our right minds, but you clearly were.
Well, it was really just. It's almost. It's not something. It's something that drives me. It's not something that I sort of choose. It's kind of just in me, and it's how I am and how I operate in all that I do. Really,
you kept active, and you kept your brain active as well.
Yeah,
so impressive.
And I think I'm always curious, and I want to learn and improve. So it's and I think the key is I've never let a job description limit that. So I've always sort of thought to how I can. What are those other things that really influence what I do, and how I can sort of implement things as well.
Definitely. So obviously you kind of briefly touched on this, but I always asked, did you always know you would go on this path? But it doesn't look like you did. You started out in something obviously that you were passionate about.
Yeah.
And it sort of fell into that, didn't it?
Yeah.
Which is quite common when I speak to guests on the show.
Yeah.
They don't, I've had lifeguards on here that have ended up as facilities managers. I've had, who did I have the other day? I get all sorts on here. Ralph, he was a farmer or lived on a farm or something. There's all sorts of different things. So yeah, who would think to know that they would be where they are?
Yeah.
But what, do you think that there was anyone that really gave you a push in your career? Would that be family or someone that you worked with? Or
yeah. As a woman, and I need to bring that in here.
Yeah, please do. I'm happy for this.
Wanting to be more than a mum. So I had my first child when I was 21, so I was very young.
Yeah.
Or relatively young, shall I say.
Yeah, it is.
And really, I have to give credit to my husband here. It was my husband's boundless support and encouragement is fundamental to all that I am. And
wow.
He's the one person who believes in me unconditionally and knows me best.
That's lovely.
We've been together 37 years this year. So that's quite some time.
That is.
So I think I need to give credit there, but I still don't really think I've arrived at my final destination.
No way. I don't think so either.
No, and I don't know. And I think this is sort of what I'm trying to also sort of share with, the next generation or anyone who's really looking for change and thinks, actually there's more than what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But for me, I do live in the hope that I will find that sweet spot where stretch and reward are there in equal measure, and where I can work in a company that really cares for me and my progression. And I think that's what we all really would like.
Nurturing something. Yeah. I'm exactly the same as you. That's how I feel. Yeah. I think it feeling like you belong somewhere as well is very important.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of companies now are embracing people like that, especially post-COVID. I think we matter a little bit now, I think. Maybe not everyone will agree with that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So let's chat about your day. You do a lot. I don't know whether it's just on paper it looks a lot, but tell us about your day. What does it actually look like for you at the moment?
Yeah, I think as you might guess, I'm happiest when my day really entails a breadth of successes and challenges.
Yes.
So as head of projects, facilities and operations at the Royal College of Music, for example, I was trying to reflect on this. You know, there's a few weeks over the summer where the students are out of the building. We have 900 students roundabout, and it's a conservatoire music education. So it's a very specific way of, just repeating yourself in your understanding and learning something as best as you can. Whereas with the University of the Arts London, it was all about creative thought, about developing independent learning. But with the RCM in the conservatoire education, it's about just doing what you choose to do really, really well. Yeah. And I can relate to that as well.
Yes.
For example, I have a space utilization project going on with room bookings layered over that. I'm doing budget forecasts and reporting and scoping for the next financial year. Meeting with neighbours. So we're part of the South Kensington Business Resilience Forum, which is a great resource. So connected with the local heads of securities as well. So heads of security at the Natural History Museum, at the V&A, and Harrods, at the Albert Hall. So that's a really powerful community to be part of.
Absolutely.
Then we have some fairly low-key, but still we have catering operations that we work with, and they're supplied to us by Imperial. Yeah. We are part of the Imperial campus in a way. So we kind of knitted into that somehow. And then on some days it can be drains flooding because a pump stops working.
Today? I hope not. We had some horrible rain.
I know. And then, we have a fantastic event, the graduation of students, which I was very fortunate to witness this year. It's such a special moment for anyone.
Of course.
And seeing all the parents who've put all of the blood, sweat and tears in, as well as the students. On another day, we might have a philharmonic concert, or the other thing that I've also recently done is we have a special exhibition this summer, which opened in June, which is it has got the world's most expensive guitar on display. Which the exhibition is called Kurt Cobain Unplugged, and you can guess whose guitar that is.
Oh my goodness!
So we have Kurt Cobain's guitar, which last when it sold at auction had a value of $6 million. We also have his green cardigan on display. It's the first time in history that those two items have been displayed together.
Oh, I love this. My son's just learning to play guitar. When is it?
Come over.
Oh my goodness,
Tickets are still available. The exhibition is open until the 18th of November.
Okay. And I might get him up there.
Oh, you'd love it. It's really, it touches people in all sorts of ways, that exhibition. So, but part of my role there was to put together security operations to make sure that we would be classified for the government indemnity scheme, because otherwise it would have been a very expensive undertaking.
Yes.
So that was a little bit touch and go for a while. But it's only £5 a ticket plus a booking fee. So it's not about making money. It's about making sure this is accessible, and we share really what we do with another generation, and people who might not naturally come through the doors of the Royal College of Music. So we have a museum and we have a library, and there is a cafe, so people can just come through that door and anyone's welcome. The museum at the bottom, the basement, is free of charge, so you can come and see the world's oldest guitar as well.
I was taking my son to it, by the way. I didn't even know this existed. So there we go.
So, but putting together security operations was a real sort of effort to make sure that we were scoping it early on. I was working very closely with our Marcoms team, with the curation team, with our directors, because all of this needed to be scoped and pitched and put together to make sure that we sort of got it over the line and getting all of the different sponsorships in there. So that was a big piece of work, and that's all successful. And that was a liaison with the Metropolitan Police then to make sure that we had the security element, and that no one thinks that they need to act the hero. It's just about following process and making sure we've got all of the different aspects of security in place.
Wow.
Then another thing might be just team meetings with colleagues from the library or the museums. We also have recording studios, so our studios team, and we also have a 400-seater theatre. So the theatre team is also a group of people that I work very closely with. Yes. It's all about making sure that the compliance works across the organisation, and that also people are supported individually in their sort of specialist needs. And again, all of this thread sort of feeds completely.
It does. I was just going to say the theatre. You're back there. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
And then on another day, I might be in Legionella responsible personal training, which I've just completed.
Okay.
Another thing I've just completed was a chandelier project. So we also have a concert hall. We refurbished the chandeliers, which had started to look very sad over time.
Oh yeah.
And so refurbished them entirely. So that was quite a big project as well that I had to book out time for. And obviously, so what happens at the RCM? We have spaces that are used for academic activity, but in between that, we thread commercial activity.
Okay.
Because conservatoire education is expensive and students' fees don't pay for all of that. So we raise income in between that, and that's through commercial activity. And in addition, last week we had the excitement of a complete building blackout exercise,
right?
Because we were installing voltage optimization equipment, and that was part of our sustainability upgrades that we were putting in place. So we were getting a higher voltage than we needed to. And of course, when that comes into the building, you also pay for it.
Gosh.
So reducing the voltage. And so that meant we had 2 days of exercise where we did a controlled shutdown, but then also, bringing all the systems back up, which is sort of where we see where things might have needed a little bit of attention. But I have to say, on the second day at 11 o'clock at night, I was able to announce to everyone that we had successful implementation of the project.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
You do a lot.
And, I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I really enjoy all of those different aspects and supporting people. So I think another thing that needs to be said is no one does these things on their own.
No, of course not.
There's always teamwork.
Team.
And it's always, and those are the things I really enjoy is sort of check in with people, making sure they're okay. Is there anything I can do for them? And obviously there's a lot of delegation involved as well.
And pulling in on their skill set as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
and surrounding yourself with the best people, really.
Absolutely.
That's always the ideal case.
What about challenges? Have you got, sounds like you had a few in there that you sort of covered.
All of the above, I think. Yes. All of the above. But, working in a music conservatoire was a new experience. So the real need for students for space, I think space is always something, when we manage buildings, space is always a sort of a key word that's in demand. But really, sort of we have pivotal moments where students, in order for them to excel and be the best, and their entire life, they've strived to be the best they can be. Yeah. So at that moment in the academic term, when they just need that extra bit of rehearsal to feel confident, to just rehearse those, 2 pages of notes that they're just stumbling upon a little bit, those sorts of things. But, so working through a multitude of practice and rehearsal rooms, the 4 venues that we have a grade 2 listed building. Yeah. And I think that,
challenge,
as we all know, keeping the plates spinning is always the task. And that's sort of really, you just it's almost like having the horizon scanning and making sure that's going well, great, that doesn't need my attention. Where do I pay attention and what's urgent?
That's it.
And so we've just gone through a cleaning tender.
Okay.
A £500,000 contract.
Yep.
That's going well. We are just about to activate the new contractor going live next week.
Okay.
So that's been a really interesting experience as well. And we've, I work with my colleagues again. We also have a consultant, so procurement consultant who works through that with us as well.
Yeah, not doing all that on your own.
No, exactly. There's a lot of pages of things to fill in and making sure that we get the terminology right and that you don't want to have any gaps that later you need to unpick and fix. Absolutely.
Yeah. Very important, working with the right contractors as well. So it's a lot though.
Sorry.
No, it's good. We need to know. We need to know what your challenges are. So where do you think the industry is heading? What excites you at the moment?
Yeah. So, I don't think I'm the voice of the FM industry. So that's just but, in general, I think I'm very aware that we work at the intersection of the physical and the digital, more and more so. And so holding on to the existing skills and inspiring the next generation to appreciate what's come before. I think that's really important, especially when you have, listed buildings where all of, the traditional ways of building, that knowledge isn't forgotten.
Yeah, of course.
And also a lot of that is to do with hand skills, so physical skills as well. But then also, inspiring the next generation to understand how things connect and explore new technologies and innovation and how that can and really should go hand in hand as well, increasingly so. So keeping up with technology and not forgetting the nuts and bolts. I think that's really, a big thing. So in events and FM, a major factor in planning and investment must also go into the government targets for net zero, obviously, your scope 1 and your scope 2.
Yeah.
And then the scope 3, which then for many also means they need to consider if the current estate is going to achieve that.
Yeah.
And how that tallies up.
Exactly.
With the balanced view of building new, dare I say. For some, like University of the Arts London has done a lot of that. So at all of the London College of Fashion buildings, they had loads of them across central London, that they consolidated, sold up and moved to Stratford. And they have a beautiful new building that is energy efficient. It's a new destination for, for students. So I think that's a challenge that maybe at the Royal College of Music, where that is, it is the Blomfield building that everyone knows. You stand at the back of the Albert Hall and you look up towards South Kensington. That building, I think many people will know that postcard image, and that absolutely makes the Royal College of Music. But for other organisations, really, there is that question: is it, should we consider in what that new next generation looks like? That's a question.
Yeah, definitely. And AI, is that sort of friend or foe for you? Do you, are you using it?
Oh, I'd love to be using more of it. I think we all use it if we know it or not. I think it's integrated more and more into all sorts of platforms where you just think, oh, that's handy. It does that for me. And there you go. That was just a very useful, seamless application for AI, making your life easier. But I would see it as a tireless collaborator. It's really something. I'm listening at the moment to the Google DeepMind podcast.
Okay.
Demis Hassabis, sorry, I've got his name written down because I want to just remember it. And he has framing it as what we're entering is the area of radical abundance.
Right.
So, he just says, yes, of course. There's some fabulous podcast episodes there. So I do encourage you to listen to them. And maybe we can do one on FM and AI as well.
Yes, definitely. That is a good idea.
But, I'm always, looking at the relationship between tech and where it actually can help us be more efficient and informed. And, AI, it can crunch data at speeds we absolutely can't. So let's make use of that. Let's make it sort of automation on steroids.
Yes. Good way of putting it.
Sort of, humans are capable of emotional intelligence and haptic touch and social relationships and cultures, and that's absolutely our strength. And that's where AI just can't compete at all.
No.
But rather than fearing it, let's make sure that we. Obviously it needs regulating in the right ways.
Yes, what you put in.
Use it in the wrong way, but I think the possibilities of using it to our strength are infinite.
Definitely. I totally agree with you. You mentioned a little bit about sort of ESG. You sort of touched on it there. It's a buzzword at the moment, isn't it? So what does it really mean to you in your work at the moment?
Gosh, it is, buzzwords can change like seasons. I think that's something that I've also learned over time. But, I've always worked on anchoring my professional practice in ethical and sustainable ways. For example, with the Association of British Theatre Technicians, I contributed a whole section to the Theatre Green Book where we can work more sustainably. But also something I started in COVID again. I started writing for the ABTT quarterly magazine called Sightline.
Yeah, saw that too. Yeah. Goodness me!
I know, and the thing is, I never knew I could write, and I don't think I'm a writer as such, but I've developed a mechanism more out of need than sort of ego.
Yes.
Where I just thought, I can do this. I can research and actually tell a little bit of a story of maybe how other people do things and how they actually all connect.
Yeah.
So I've talked about different things there as well, about sustainability and inclusion and accessibility. At the RCM, we've just been recertified in our ISO 14001. So sustainability, I know, having gone through that, just needs to run through the organization like a stick of rock.
Right.
And that's the key.
Yes.
I think for UAL, they do that very successfully. There's a lot of, so University of the Arts London, they fund staff development initiatives, and there's good management training and progressive appraisal processes. So again, like I said, that stick of rock, the social purpose just is understood by everyone, and we're all kind of striving towards the same outcome, and that is really, everyone feels it, everyone implements it, and it really it means a lot to everyone.
I agree.
That I think I think another thing that I learned over time as well is culture eats technology for breakfast. So I think technology is easy to purchase if you've got the money.
Yes.
But it's all very well sitting in the corner of a room, and no one knows how to use it.
Exactly.
So it's how do we get people, making sure there's time and resource for people to learn and engage with it as well.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. I think with all the technology in the world, we need people to operate it and protect it and keep it safe, and absolutely, and fix it if it goes wrong.
Well, there you go. I did some of that today as well. Our CCTV was down. So it's working. Our engineers and our ICT team. So
gosh, you managed to get that all done before you come on the podcast. So that's it. That was your challenge of today. So do you think the industry's innovating fast enough, or do you think we're still playing catch up?
Well, investment is important. It's not just about kit, but also about people, like I just said, and time and training facilities. But having worked in education for so long, and I think that's what we do really well in education. And as sort of the technical teams in education are also teaching and learning technicians, so that they understand that sort of inherent needing to learn, but needing to share that knowledge as well. And I do think that in facilities and estates teams, sometimes that's a little bit not invested enough in. And I listened to Kate Bassey. Goodness, what a fabulous company she works for, and what an amazing human being there.
Powerhouse.
Absolutely, really, they clearly embrace all of that. But in the smaller organizations, maybe that's lacking a bit.
Yeah.
And so really the question is, how do we bring those smaller organizations with us? Maybe that's something we can sort of have something that sits above or beyond an organization that we can engage with as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But having space and time to be playful and room to explore and make errors, I think, is important.
I love that. So you've had lots of projects or moments in your career, haven't you? I can see this. But looking back, which one are you most proud of today?
Oh gosh, I can't really nail one. So there's so much of it. I think from opening the new workshops at Camberwell College of Arts after the 4-year capital project was brilliant. It was brilliant to see how the technical team engaged with that, how the students sort of immediately sort of filled those spaces and inhabited them, and sort of really became part of that ownership as well. Then when I was at the Dutch National Opera and Ballet, we put on a production of a piece called Auslicht.
Okay.
So let me just tell you about Auslicht. It's a German composer, Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, and also just if you heard that maybe an accent, I am German by birth.
We forgot to mention.
So we forgot to mention. I came to this country in 1987, but it's So that's. Having worked in Holland, so people sometimes ask if I'm Dutch, but so having worked in Holland at the Dutch National Opera and Ballet, I ran the department in English. They're all very, very good at speaking English in Holland.
Yes, they are.
But so that production was normally, when you run it, if it's run once all the way through, it takes 7 days to run it.
Yeah.
We run 3 days of it in 3 cycles.
Wow.
And putting that on was an epic undertaking. Yeah. And I think that's, again, I like working at scale. I think that's what really it works very well for me. The sort of the having the bigger picture, always seeing the thing that sort of is sort of captures, it's sort of the thing that goes above everything that really sort of always interests me, is how things connect and how they feed off each other, and how that how we can all grow from that. But then also at the School of Performance, setting up that at the University of the Arts London in Wimbledon, and most recently at Royal College of Music, the Kurt Cobain exhibition. That was brilliant, and it was lovely. We met the person who loaned us the guitar as well, which is a very generous loan, and just again, it's about connecting things. That's really sort of what sort of goes through my career.
Yeah, you've got so many. I've met so many people along the way as well.
But I think that's just one other thing to go back to. One thing when I was freelancing back in my freelance years in the early 2000s, I used to sort of always say, I facilitate genius. And working at the Royal Opera House, you might sort of understand why I say that, facilitating genius. It's all about really getting that person on that stage to be as amazing and shine at that most amazing self. Yes. And really, us being a very small part of that, but each small part of that being pivotal in it.
Absolutely.
And I think buildings are like that as well. Yes. But it's about, all of the making the impossible happening, but in safe ways. And compliance, for me, compliance is the thing that should happen in the background. No one sees it. I know it's happening. And my team absolutely knows it's happening, but it's invisible.
Absolutely. I've never even looked at it like that. I'm thinking of mostly theatre and things like that. You just don't know what goes on behind the scenes.
Yes.
A lot.
Yes.
So what's something you wish you knew when you were just starting out? I mean, you were starting out in something completely different, but what do you wish you knew?
So a career can be a long and exciting path. So it's not just a box you place yourself into that limits your outlook. I think it's that sort of understanding that, because for me, the idea as a young person, so what you're going to be, it was an intimidating thought. I kind of just felt it quite, I just, the fact that I had to make a decision there and then for the rest of my life was, I couldn't really comprehend with that. But I think what I do also mentor young people along the side.
Okay.
But, I say be bold, be curious, be fearless, but also change is only one successful interview away. I think that's my piece of advice.
Yeah, that's lovely. So if someone came to you tomorrow and said, I want to do what you do, what would you say to them?
Yeah. I mean, job descriptions can be like shopping lists, and, interviews are such unique experiences. I think it's up to everyone to sort of really do a little bit of the heavy lifting to help people succeed. It's not just about the person seeking growth. It's really for everyone to help along with that as well.
Yeah, good way of looking at it.
But, for candidates, shop around, study job descriptions and look at what skills and qualifications are needed and get working on those as a path of action.
Which is what you've done.
Exactly, yeah. And that's really sort of, again, we're coming full circle here.
Yes.
But also, don't be afraid of interviews. Make them your hobby. I think that's what I had a very early on in my career, an interview where I was so terrified when I left, and it was a job I really, really wanted. And I just thought that will never happen to me again. I'm just going to get really good at interviews. And just not be afraid of them. I think that's the key.
That's a good way of looking at recruitment. 25 years, that's what I did.
Wow.
And I met a lot of people. I used to say to them, it's very important to know that you're interviewing the company as well. It's not just the other way around. It's not just you being nervous, and you need to know if this is the right job for you as well. And are you joining the right team for you? It's not all one-sided.
These are big decisions.
They are. And it's important for people to know that, So it's, don't be nervous if you've got something to bring.
Have something prepared.
That's it.
Have your questions prepared. Do your research. I always make sure I get my research done on, go through the website, go through the annual reports nowadays. I can go with knowing what was at least what's documented, just so I can break something to the room.
That's it.
That we can have a conversation. It's a two-way conversation then.
Do your research. I agree with that. That's something I would always say.
And I think one other thing is there's room for everyone. Jobs can be as specific or as broad-reaching as you are. So I think that's, especially in estates and FM, I've noticed that, it's there for everyone. Whatever is the thing that you feel is your strong point or the thing that interests you, there is a place for you somewhere within
That's right.
that sort of.
And I think that's
career.
important, isn't
Yeah.
it? Do something that you enjoy.
Absolutely.
My dad sort of forced upon me recruitment. That's what you're going to do.
Wow.
And I was in it for 25 years. Wonder what else would have interested me. I mean, I did love recruitment.
Was he in recruitment?
No.
What made him?
His wife was in recruitment. I think maybe he sort of pushed me down that career. Listen, I did really well out of recruitment, and it's a fantastic industry. It's changed a lot, but yeah, it was very exciting.
Yeah,
but it's changed, and I think I'm very old school, traditional recruitment.
Yeah,
the Adecco, Alfred Marks days is where I came from with really good training. It's
brilliant.
really changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now it's new challenges for me too. So, but yeah, you're right. It's got to be right for you. And what do you want to do?
Yeah,
I think it's important. It's a good way of looking at it. So, okay, well, I mean, do you ever switch off? But if you do things outside of work, what do you do outside the day job? You mentioned a husband, so...
Yeah, so obviously family. I've just become a grandma.
Oh!
To a little baby girl.
Oh, goodness.
So that's another...
Is this the 21-year-old that's had a baby?
Well, when
you were 21, sorry.
That one, yes. So that'll keep me busy for a while.
How lovely.
Very exciting and very lucky. And but also, in addition to that, I love swimming.
That's good.
I love going to the theatre. And kind of switching off and not switching off is my voluntary work.
Right.
I also often in the evening I'll have I volunteer I'm a trustee director also for a company called Theatre Delicatessen, which is where I am part on the properties committee, a subcommittee, and part of the governance subcommittee. And again, it's those roles. I know. Yes, it is additional, but it kind of feeds a little bit something more personal than a paid job does. Mm-hmm. And, I get valued in different ways as well. And actually what I contribute there has got a very deep meaning for me. And I do it because I really feel very deeply about the purpose of those charities. And I care for the people that
and it's a charity.
Are on the boards with me. Yeah, and I think really there's almost a little bit of a responsibility of giving back as well, I think. So I do feel that. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm sitting here thinking I should be doing more.
No.
You do a lot.
No. No.
I should do some volunteer work, I think. I need to do something that's close to my heart. There is, isn't there?
Really, and like I said, you'll get as much out of it as you give.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at that. Yeah. So, okay. What's the best bit of advice you've ever been given?
So I've been very, very fortunate. Having been part of the University of the Arts London, I was selected to be on a program called Vision 22. This was back in 2016-17. Mm-hmm. And at the time, the director of Organizational Development and Learning, Anna Petz, had developed this program. And so that really helped, gave me lots of tools, and most importantly, the tool of self-reflection. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's very overstated, but when you go through that, the mechanisms of what self-reflection looks like and how it can help you overcome hurdles, that really has equipped me very well and sort of helped me own my own path as well, in a way, rather than sort of just feeling that I'm stuck in a position, I can contribute and actually steer my own narrative as well. And then for anyone wanting to become a confident manager, I think also great book, Susan Scott's Fierce Conversations. That was a book that was shared with me during that session, during that year of study. So the program was a 1-year program. So do look into Susan Scott's Fierce Conversations. It's a great read. She has another one, Fierce Leadership, I think. But Conversations is a great one for people who have just become managers and still need to find their sort of confidence in that management side of things. Don't be afraid to choose your own mentors. Build your own network of people that you trust and aspire to be like.
Yeah.
And finally, I think so there was also, when I was at Camberwell College of Arts, there was our head of marketing, and he was helping me through. When I was early on in my time there, I was going into board meetings, feeling quite overwhelmed by how much everyone else knew. And I sort of sat there thinking, oh, it's coming round to my turn to speak, and I don't know what to say. And I did have lots of information in front of me, but I just didn't really have a mechanism to present it.
Yeah.
And he sort of said, make yourself big. And by that he meant, if you pick a piece of information from what you want to present, and maybe you bring something like a printout you've prepared that you can just share around the room, where you just really, that moment that comes around when it comes around to you to speak in the boardroom, you just have that little piece. And I think Kate sort of refers to that as well in your previous episode, where you just have that piece of information that you present, you own it, you can deliver it really well, and you've shared something that you know has been worth sharing at that moment, rather than feeling intimidated by it.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I love that. How wonderful. I've really enjoyed interviewing you today. It's very inspiring, and there's lots of snippets in there for our guests to hear and to listen to. Thank you so much, Anette. It's been
very,
a
very
pleasure to have you on the show. And that's it for today. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this one going live. So that's it for today, people. Please do forward on and share with your friends and family and anybody that's definitely getting into the FM industry, but literally anyone that's working out there, working towards a career. I think especially today, that was some really good information there from Anette. So we shall see you next time on Wear Many Hats.
And hang on, just sorry.
Come on.
If you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to do so.
Absolutely. I usually say that. I do. Yes. Anette said you can contact her on LinkedIn if you've got any questions for her. Thank you so much. That's beautiful.
Really lovely to meet you.
Thank you. And we'll see you again soon.
Take care. Bye.